Hey guys, Smash here. Welcome to my crib. Today we're going to be covering how to PVE as a Windwalker monk. PVE's for fags! Yes, well, there are a lot of people that do PVE and it is quite a lot of fun, so let's learn how to PVE it up. In this guide, we'll be covering talents and glyphs, stat priorities, rotations and cooldowns, gems and enchants, and of course my pro tips. So here is our talent tree with player percentages next to each talent. This information was generated from a database of 500,000 guilds, all of which have downed 2 or more heroic bosses in tier 5, so they're definitely no LFR donkeys by any means. Many players have spec'd the same way, so let's briefly explain why they've made these choices for each talent. Tiger's Lust, burst speed, definitely handy, breaks roots which are common in certain fights, and any additional utility you get is always a good thing. Chi Wave, best out of the 3, no brainer. Ascension, this one's picked up to save yourself from stacking loads of haste and allowing you to stack other useful stats. Leg Sweep and Ring of Peace, very situational. Generally, mobs are immune to disarm, silence and stuns, so it's a bit of whatever. Diffuse Magic, because most of the raid damage is magic damage, and the White Tiger because it provides the most damage. Moving on to glyphs, top glyph is Touch of Karma. The standard range for Touch of Karma is very small and you need to be in range to keep yourself alive. A glyph of Spinning Crane Kick, and the fun one is Glyph of Zen Meditation, super handy for soaking raid damage. Now onto the stat priorities, hit and expertise rating to 7.5%, agility and then haste rating. The general rule of thumb with haste is you want to have enough haste so you can use an ability every global cooldown. How much haste is that? Well, that's around 5 to 7k. Just ask yourself, if you're finding that you are running out of chi and energy and you're auto attacking sometimes, get more haste. And then mastery or crit. Now mastery tends to scale a lot better than crit, however it all depends on how well you use your Tiger Eye Brew. So if you're using it bang on every single time, go for mastery. Otherwise, if you're a bit lazy and don't really care, grab critical strike rating and you'll do a lot better. Now rotations and cooldowns. The monk rotation is very simple and I'll break it down into 2 categories, chi building and chi spending. As a general rule of thumb, you want to never max your chi. This will ensure that your resources are evenly used, so you never want to generate any more than 2 to 3 chi at any given time. When you're building chi, use expel harm instead of jab when you're not at full health. Otherwise, jab away and that'll be your main energy dump. Chi spending rotation starts off by making sure you get your Rising Sun kick off and your Tiger Palm and keeping those both up 100% of the fight. Use Fist of Fury on cooldown, however make sure you do not cap out on energy or let your Rising Sun kick or Tiger Palm drop off. Blackout kick is used to dump chi in between keeping your RSK and TP buffs up. If you receive a combo break a proc, always make sure you use that first before doing another jab. In AoE situations, the general rule of thumb is if you're fighting 1 to 2 enemies, use single target rotations. If you're fighting 3 or more, you want to use Storm, Earth and Fire and use your normal single target rotation. That's provided that the enemies last longer than 10 seconds. If it's any more than 3, like 4, 5 or more, you want to use your Rising Sun kick, Tiger Palm and then just Spinning Crane Kick the whole way. Now on to cooldowns. Now using Energizing Brew, you want to use that every single time it's up. So say for example, you're fighting a boss that normally dies within about 5 minutes, you should at least have used this ability 4 times. Now for gems and enchants, basically this is pretty stock standard. So red gems, you go for agility. Yellow sockets, you got a couple of choices. You can go like crit, haste or mastery. Blues sockets, you want to go for 80 agility and 160 hit. And meta, you want to of course go for your agility and crit. Prismatics is really, it depends on what you want to go for. More agility, more crit, or whatever you need. Hit, whatever, haste. Now for enchants, you want to go for your shoulder, you'll get your Greater Tiger Claw Inscription. Chest, you get Glorious Stats. Legs, you want to get the Shadow Leather Leg Armor. Feet, you get Blurred Speed. Wrist, Greater Agility. Hands, you get Greater Haste. If you have enchanting, you can get your fingers done. And your back, you want to get Accuracy, or you can get Crit. And for your weapons, you want to get Dancing Steel for all of them. And that's it. Now for a bit of pro tips. Now, one-handers versus two-handers. Now, ideally, the best DPS you're going to do is with one-handers because they provide the most damage. But in the real world, it just depends on what kind of drops you get. So if you're a little confused, the way it works is if the eye level of your two-hander is more than 10 eye levels of your one-handers, go with that instead. Otherwise, stick to your one-handers. On most boss fights, it's inevitable to dodge massive amounts of damage, which is why Touch of Karma is one of the best abilities for PvE. It complements your DPS and it saves your healers from healing your ass anyway. So make sure you time it right, learn the fights well, and use the ability when it counts the most. If you find yourself unable to attack the boss at any point, make sure you're using Jade Lightning to generate your chi so that when you get back into it, you can start smashing the boss with heaps of damage. Double potions. Now we all know that we can only use one potion during combat, but it's actually possible to pop two during the actual fight. The way you do that is you pop it before your tank pulls the boss. Make sure your tank does a big countdown so you can efficiently take full advantage of your second potion. That's it for this video, guys. I hope this guide has helped you, and as always, thanks for watching.